Hey everybody, I'm here with another book review. This time I want to talk about a book in the original Goosebumps series. This is number 40. This is Night of the Living Dummy 3. I do have two editions of this book. I actually don't have the 2003, I think, edition with like the blue spine. Before I get too far in this video, I will let you guys know that I am dealing with allergies or something. I am pretty sick. Um, I've been coughing this whole week and it's been terrible, so I probably will have to take breaks on and cough a little bit, so I'm going to try to get through this review pretty quickly. But yeah, I do have two editions of this book, and then I have two more editions dealing with the Dummy franchise. I'll show it off kind of towards the end, but I do have this edition. This is the 2015, I think, edition. I think this is the, Now Major Motion Pictures. Came out 2015 or so. Pretty decent cover. The next one, though, is very nostalgic. This is the cover that I remember as a kid growing up. You have all the dummies sitting there in the attic. And I love this. It has so many more dummies in it. Pretty cool stuff. You got the famous, my version of famous 25-cent thing up there. For those of you who don't know, I mentioned this in previous reviews, but me and my dad went to this thrift store when I was really young and found a bunch of Goosebumps books, and they all had this little symbol up here. And back then it was kind of difficult. Well, not really difficult. Just I didn't have internet, so I couldn't look up like what the covers look like, and just finding these in the wild and stuff like that. It's very different than I'm just buying them now or seeing the covers released or whatever. But yeah, pretty awesome stuff. I love this one. This one does not have the trading cards inside. I do have a mark on the back of this. There's like a little red mark on there. I remember that, seeing that as a kid. But yeah. The story itself starts off with Trina going upstairs to the attic. I think her little brother's with her, and her little brother's named Dan. We learn a little bit about her dad. Her dad is this retired ventriloquist that had his own little act. I think the dummy that he used in his act was named Wilbur. And he has this thing called the Dummy Museum, which now he is retired from ventriloquism and things like that, so he just kind of does repairing dummies. And they're upstairs and they hear a dummy say, "I'm going to get you," and it turns out to be their dad, I think. He's hiding behind the couch, and he has the dummies kind of lined up here. He tells them to come here into the workshop part of the attic, and he pulls out this dummy that he said that he got glued with his head split in half, which I actually really like that. That's continuity from the last book. I'm not going to say much more about that, but he glues it together, and he names it Smiley. And the kids are kind of looking over this dummy, and Trina finds this little piece of paper, and it has these ancient words on it. She reads it, and the dummy winks at her and slaps her in the head, allegedly. And she blames, I think, Dan, and Dan's like, "I didn't do that," because he tries to scare her, or vice versa. I know one of the two kids are trying to scare each other. But yeah, the dad disappears for a quick minute. He comes back and he says that, "Hey, your cousin Zane is coming to stay with us for a week for, I think, spring break." And yeah, so he's coming up to stay with them, and we learn a little bit about Zane too. Zane is this kid that their cousin that stayed with them last time, and they terrified him. They said that the house was haunted, and I think that he's like scared of dummies and different things like that. So shortly after this, Zane pops up. He shows up, I think, the next day, and he talks a little bit. He says that he is like really into photography now, likes taking pictures, and yeah. Zane goes to his room, and he finds this dummy laying in the middle of the floor, and it scares him. And different things like this start to happen. The dummy that's found is named Rocky. I think Rocky is... not sure if he's on the cover of this one or not. He's the one with the sneer. Yeah, I don't think he's on this one. I can't remember. I know that he has like stripes, and I don't see one with stripes. But because swore Rocky was like very easy to picture. I'm going to say that's Rocky. Probably not him, but yeah, we'll say that's Rocky. But yeah. The dummy is found sitting in his room. And the dad pretty much basically warns them not to get in trouble even before this happens. A little after that, Zane gets up in the middle of the night. He wakes up Trina and says that he hears voices coming from the attic. I'll say that I remember as a kid thinking that this was very terrifying. And I kind of feel like I read this like while I was in bed one night. And I didn't have an attic, but looking at the roof and thinking, oh wow, that would be pretty creepy hearing voices in your attic. So he hears it. They go into the kitchen and they turn the lights on and they see Rocky sitting at the table. So they go upstairs to the attic. They kind of explore, see what's going on. They just see the dummies lying around. Nothing happens there. The dad, they think they see Rocky climbing up the stairs, and it turns out to be their dad. And he gets on to them saying, like, hey, if you guys leave these dummies around, you're not going to go to summer camp, and gets on to them and all this stuff. A little while later, they go back downstairs the next morning, and Rocky's sitting at the dinner table. So, Trina grabs the dummy and carries him upstairs before anybody can see. After this, they take some pictures, or Zane takes some pictures of the house, and he's like really into like molding and stuff like around houses, and it's really weird. He gets the pictures developed, and all of the pictures have Slappy in them, or not Slappy, all the dummies. I'm sorry, I saw Slappy up there and I said Slappy, but all of the pictures have dummies in them. And after this, Zane kind of freaks out, and the kids kind of come to this conclusion on something, and I won't reveal what it is. So they come up to this conclusion that what's going on, and it turns out to be true. But more things start happening, and it's kind of weird, and you're kind of like, oh, well, what's actually going on? So, after this, they have a dinner party, and all the dinner stuff gets torn apart. There is a Zane's room gets torn apart. His camera gets like thrown and torn apart, destroyed, and all this stuff. And yeah, that basically leads to the climax. And I'm not gonna say much. And I know that's not very much about this book. And this leads me to my kind of hot take of the series. Probably my first hot take of me rereading these books. So I mentioned in number 2 that I remembered it being repetitive in number 1. So if you guys recall, when I read Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, I remembered stuff differently. I think that I remember this differently because this was just a rehash of Dummy 2. They tie a certain dummy up in a knot, they throw him in a well, which in the first book they throw him in like under like the sidewalk, whatever you call that, in the sewer, I think. And the dummy just appears the next day. And yeah, that's basically the same thing that happens here. The dummy does mention wanting the kids as a slave, and that's really it. And it's just not very interesting. Night of Living Dummy 3 was probably my least favorite book in the series of the trilogy so far, out of the dummy books. I'm not gonna rank them, I don't think, yet. Not the original trilogy. One day, God willing, I might try to rank all of the Slappy books, but yeah. Dummy 3 was probably my least favorite so far of the Dummy books, at least in the original trilogy, because nothing really happens in the first half, even dummies being found just in spots. If I was in a scenario, I would honestly think somebody's pranking me. It is kind of creepy thinking these dummies could possibly be alive, but I'd honestly jump to the conclusion that these dummies are being pranked. And yeah. And then the climax is just, I don't know, very rushed, and not a lot happens there. I mean, it is annoying that what happens, like your room gets destroyed and stuff like that, but that's really all this is, just annoyance. And Dummy 3 is just not my favorite. And that's kind of sad because this was my favorite as a kid, and now if I had to say what I think my favorite is, I think Dummy 2 is my favorite, followed by 1, and then 3 is coming in last. So it would go 3, 1, 2. Yeah, 3, 1, 2. So that's like a mini ranking, I guess. And I didn't really want to do that because I feel like years down the road, whenever I finish the series and I rank all of them, I'll end up putting them in a different spot and messing it all up. But I think I'll look back on this and kind of use it as a reference because I really don't know how I'm going to rank all these. But yeah, but Dummy 3 was okay at best. Not one of my favorite books in the series at all. Um, Honestly, kind of disappointing, and that's kind of bad. But yeah, that's all for Night of the Living Dummy 3. I don't really have much else to say. There is a scene where the kids go up to the attic and they hear like an insult coming from the dummy they called Smiley. I'm not even sure if I mentioned that or not, but the dad names the dummy Smiley. So yeah, and yeah, so I will show off this really quick. And these are just, since I finished up Night of the Living Dummy 3, I will show my little bind up editions that I have. That I think these are all the ones that I have. So I have first here, this is the Monster Edition number 2. I have this, I've had this for years now. And his eyes are supposed to light up, they do not. I don't have an edition that lights up. And I have this one. This is one that I got, I'm pretty sure, at a flea market, I think. But I've been reading through this at home, so pretty cool stuff. This is a very awesome little bind up edition too. This has number 1, 2, and 3, and that one has number 1, 2, and 3 as well. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Night of Living Dummy 3. Again, not my favorite book in the series. Yeah. The twist involving, well, I'm not going to say who it involves, but there is a twist, and I didn't really spoil it, but yeah, it's not great. And there's also another twist involving one of the dummies. I'll mention that, and that was really easy to guess. I mean, if you read any of these books, you can tell. But yeah, Night of Living Dummy 3, I give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Just kind of a mid book for me. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.